I'm Mitchell with Adventure Atmospheres, and today we're going to go over how I make the tiny little trinkets that we use at the Renaissance Festival. So, come with me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have the idea, which is we want a pumpkin to go with the pumpkin heads we're going to be wearing to the first week of fair. And so I'm going to look up little pumpkins in Thankyverse because I love free stuff. And I'm going to see if I can find me a tiny little pumpkin that does its job. And that looks like a tiny little pumpkin worth downloading. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the 3D file real quick, see what it looks like. Looks pretty good, pretty noticeable and iconic. And so I'll go ahead and download the file. All right, and I'll meet you inside my slicer. Desktop, distorted B. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's a tiny little pumpkin. And it's almost as tiny as I want, but it's a tad bit too tiny. So I'm going to put it on some scale and see what we got since it's equal ratio. And I'm going to be looking at the millimeter size, knowing that 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter, and then like basically 2-point-something centimeters is close to an inch. And that means I want about a pumpkin that's about the size of an inch. So I'm going to look about that. That looks like a pretty good pumpkin size. It's not going to take too much resin up. And it should print pretty well at this angle, especially with the little stem. I want that to be the last thing that printed so it doesn't need any supports. I'm going to grab it, I'm going to position it over here, and then I am basically going to do copy, and I want 20 of these. And I want 10 more of them because it looks like we've got some good space. Boom, and then I'm going to select all, and I'm going to see how smart this thing can be. So I want it, let's try at a 3 millimeter centered. Ooh, look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. So right now that means that each print will print me a good 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 times 7 is going to be 28, 29, 30, 31. So I can get about 32. Once I add that last one right here, Control C, Control V, boom. And there you go. That's going to be, now it's not perfect. I could probably print more at once, but I want to avoid any possibility of these getting too close and having them stick together. But then I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go into supports. These support settings are basically what I've figured out are the best supports for my printer with the resin that I'm using, which is Sunlu ABS-like 2.0. I'll go ahead and hit auto supports. We're going to see the rafts pop up on it. All right, and they're going to do generation of supports every single layer, every single thing. I got a pre-supported height off the base for them. All right, and so we see that it's going ahead and going to be good for that. And then since I've got all my settings in, I'll go ahead and hit slice. All right, so time to transport it. And remember, children, always eject your flash drive. Into the machine you go. Right the first time. All right, gonna print this pumpkin, and away it goes. And now we wait. Soon the pumpkins are done. Let's go check. I would like to keep this gimmick going.
You gotta be safe at all times when working with resin.
My little mini pumpkin patches are ready to go.
Here's my little pumpkin patch. I have to make sure that I clean off all this excess resin that's gonna be left behind after the printing process, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to have to give it multiple isopropyl alcohol baths. However, I use a very thin additional plate that allows me to basically pop the whole assembly off at one time, and cleaning these things are a breeze. So what's going to happen is after I take it off the plate, it came off super fast. I'm going to put it in what I call the dirty wash. I was taught this by other 3D printers on YouTube. And then it's going to go through what is referred to as kind of like a mid-wash. And then finally a clean wash, a super clean wash at the end.